Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Colocasia, the elephant ear, which is probably one of my favorite tropical plants to grow besides uh, bananas, which don't have any right now, but for the best tropical looking that you can get, bananas are number one, and I would say this is the number two thing you can grow. So we're going to talk about some of the different ways to grow your elephant ears, and then we're gonna go on a little tour and see some of the varieties we have in the garden here. So the first thing you want to consider when you're planting your elephant ear, and the most important thing you can do, is you want to have a very good planting location. You want to have a location that receives afternoon shade is best, and you want to have a location that is either already very wet, or hopefully you can water it really well if not. And so for planting in the ground, a location like this is under some bamboo, which it's faced where the sun in the afternoon it gets shade, but in the morning here this elephant ear gets plenty of sun. And it's in kind of an area here where it's in a wet area in our yard, which is perfect for your elephant ear because they are basically an aquatic type plant and can take basically all the water you can give them. We'll talk about putting them in a pot later and how you can almost fill your pot with water. But anyway, so your planting location is your number one thing, and you're going to want to put them in, like most tropical plants, some rich soil. And in this case, it doesn't have to be well-drained soil, but it's always best to have them on a little mound or something like that. But the roots want to always stay wet on this plant. So let's talk a little bit about what zones you can grow this plant in. And elephant ears are traditionally, a lot of them say that they're rated for zone 8 and up, but most elephant ears that we're going to see here today, you can grow them in zone 6, for certain in zone 7, and one of them especially you probably can even get away with some years in zone 5, and so that's pretty shocking. But elephant ears overall, as far as their size, they run anywhere from dwarf elephant ear, which is some right here we'll talk about later, which can get like 12 to 18 inches tall, and you have regular size elephant ear like this one, which get about 3 feet tall. And you have some that are giant elephant ears that those can get, very tall, 8 or 10 feet, and some very large leaves on them. But other thing, as far as pests, in most cases elephant ears don't have a very large pest problem. They have kind of a almost like a poisonous to some bugs and everything to eat them, but here we have trouble with slugs eating them a little bit when they're small, and you can put stuff like Sluggo out, which is something to kill some of your snails and slugs. And other than that, they're not they don't have a very bad pest problem. They don't usually have any type of disease problem to speak of. But so they're a very good plant to mix in with your tropical garden. So the other popular way, if you want to put your elephant ear in a pot, most elephant ears are very tolerant of water, and it makes it a whole lot easier to water them. So you just put your potting mix in a pot, you pick you out one of these kind of cheap plastic pots. It needs to be plastic ideally, from like Lowe's or Home Depot or something. And you either, if it has drain holes in the bottom, you can put duct tape over the holes from the inside, And then what you're gonna do is take your drill and go around halfway up the pot and drill a couple of drain holes in the side that doesn't show. And then you're gonna plant your elephant ear, and that way it'll stay full of water up to that height, and your elephant ear will love that type of arrangement and do very well. And you need to make sure you got a fairly big pot for that, probably you know, something pretty substantial. We'll show you a picture here of some I've had, but they love that type of growing conditions. So let's go around and we'll look at the different elephant ears we have. And the first one here, starting out, is Mojito. And you can see it's a green and black hybrid elephant ear. And it's pretty popular. You can find it in a lot of places. And we'll go on to our next one. Okay, next on our list for our varieties that we have is this one's White Lava, and this is about another 3 or 4 foot elephant ear. And again, you can grow it in zone 7 and up. And this elephant ear is our dwarf elephant ear, the only dwarf we have, and there's not very many dwarfs. I think there's just a couple usually. And this one's Colocasia fallax, and it's only gets about 12 to 18 inches tall, and it makes a good ground cover. And you can see here it spreads a little differently than some. It spreads by these little shallow runners here, and they'll come up with a new elephant ear there. And one of these in 2 or 3 years, and you'll have a lot of them that you can make a ground cover out of. And just like every other elephant ear, they like kind of the moist, and this particular one kind of will grow in your mulch in the top of your beds. And even though it stays real shallow, it's very cold hardy as well, and I would rate it as a zone 6 or for sure a zone 7 elephant ear. And this particular elephant ear is our coffee cups. This is a very tall and one of my favorite elephant ears. It gets about 6 or 7 feet tall, and you can see why it's called coffee cups, because it has an upturned leaves and they'll hold water there, and different things like bugs and different things will drink out of that. And this particular one's a very good one to have, and looks very different in your tropical garden. And this is one of my favorite elephant ears. This is one that I think looks very tropical looking, and it's been very vigorous for us, which means it comes back very easy from winter. Came back very easy from this cold winter we had of -1, and this particular one is called Aloha, and I highly recommend it for your garden, and I think it'll come back in zone 6 as well. And it spreads easy, so you have a lot of these over time, but this one's Aloha. And here's a new one for me this year. This one is a hybrid from Brian's Botanicals. It's one that he's made over time and trademarked. It's called Pharaoh's Mask. You can see it's got this unique veining here, and as this one gets a little larger, it should be a pretty good specimen, and we'll see how it does over the winter, but it's probably at least a zone 7 elephant ear. And that just gives you an idea of kind of our rarer type of elephant ear that we have. And here's some of our black elephant ears. These are, for me at least, generally tend to be less hardy, but I believe this one's called Black Magic. You can get 2 or 3 different types of these pretty easy, and this particular one stays a little smaller for us at least, So I would say it's 2 or 3 foot tall. Probably rate this one to zone 7 at least. And this one is one of the cold hardiest elephant ears that's known. This is called pink china, and it's green with a pink stem, you can see there. And this particular elephant ear is probably hardy to at least zone 6, and this is one that you can also try in zone 5 if you put it in a very good location. But there again, this is a very common elephant ear you can find, and it's very vigorous. It'll spread very easy, and that's one of the reasons that makes it very hardy. And so there again, this is pink china. One thing I like to do with our little ground cover elephant ears is make sure to go along the edges of like our paths and different things, and they make a very good border for that type of thing. And so we really like these little dwarf elephant ear here, this Colocasia fallax. A little hard to find, but if you can find them, they're worth it. You can start out with 2 or 3, and it'll take you 2 or 3 years to have this many, but they spread pretty fast. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and like and subscribe if you did, and hope this gave you some good tips on how to grow elephant ears, and we'll see you later.